No? Lahat yan nangyayari sa workplace. Hindi na kayo umaalis sa eskwelahan or hindi na kayo umaalis sa division office. It's integrated po sa work practice. Kaya yung committee work, committee ka sa, kunyari, sa pag-improve, kunyari, no, ng health protocols sa school mo. Yan, job expansion, job shadowing, may sinimensyon si principal kanina, job rotation, special projects, such as the learning recovery, or stretch assignments kung tawagin. Alright? So yan po yung ating job-embedded learning. I won't expound on it. I'm sure you have the learning and development manual. If wala po, I will forward it to Mampay, no, yung definitions ng mga job-embedded learning. This is a very, very good modality po. Kasi po, naka-embed na siya. Hindi na umaalis yung mga teachers natin doon sa loob ng paaralan. Alright? And again, hindi siya costly. Okay? So, ang next po is relationship and discussion-based learning or RDL. Ito yung sometimes referred to as social exposure. Okay? Interaction with the supervisors, with the peers, okay? Makahinti ka sa ibang school, no? It is a springboard for learning. Ito yung I will discuss heavily is yung coaching. And then, of course, lahat kayo, I'm sure, mentoring. Peer-assisted learning, kung bago yung teacher and needs assistance, we do the peer-assisted learning. And of course, yung communities of practice. Alright, next po is the, next slide po tayo, formal learning activities. Ayan, ito na po yun. Yung ating training program, whether face-to-face, online, or blended, pag pinag-attend po tayo ng isang short na seminar, professional conferences. Also, if you're taking your master's or PhD, that is understood as formal learning activity, and of course, benchmarking as well. Next slide, Mampay. LAC. Ayan po yung ating LAC, which is lahat tayo gumagawa. Pero there are different kinds of LAC, and this will be heavily discussed tomorrow na po, no, ni Sir Philip. Kasi usually, pag sinabi natin LAC, group learning agad. Okay? But there are one-on-one learning, supported self-management, and multi-school or multi-district pwede yan. Okay? Nasa district supervisor niyan o nasa mga principals ng isang district. So tomorrow we will highlight on LAC. Right? Next slide please, Mampay. So these are now the deped modalities. No? Next slide po. Microsoft Teams, press po. Naglalag siguro tayo. Ay, sorry po. Pakibalik lang po, Mampay, na ano siya. Ayan. So, these are the deped modalities, no, as I mentioned. And it may be delivered, again, face-to-face, online, or blended. Again, we are in a flexible learning environment. So, it will be part of your planning and designing, whether you do it face-to-face, online, or a blended environment. Next slide po, Mampay. So, question ko sa inyo, no? You can use the chat box. What is the best L&D modality? For you, what is the best L&D modality? You can use the chat box and I'll read your answers. For you, what is the best L&D modality? La, okay, La, Sir Jaime. Very effective sa school yan. Yan, puro LAC. Kasi mga ano tayo mga principal. Si Ma'am Lourdes, FL din, LAC. Alright, LAC. Okay, very good. I understand why all of you say LAC because I'm sure the recurrence of LAC in the context of the school is very, very important. Alright. All of them depends on the needs. Maganda yung input ni Ma'am Daisy. Lahat yung ating modalities, very good, but it depends on the needs. Kakaiba naman perspektibo si Ma'am Daisy. Okay? Si Ma'am Mary Ann din. No best modality depends to the needs of the school. At ang dami pang exclamation point ni Madam Mary Ann. So, it depends rin, sabi ni Sir Edwin, on the occasion and situation. Combination of all. It can be combination of one modality. All right. Can we press the next slide, please? Yan. So these are the considerations in selecting what modality. Okay. These are the considerations of choosing what modality. Because LAC is very, very effective in the school environment. Maybe we can revisit how we choose the right modality for the program. Okay, number one, we focus on the learning objectives. What is the nature of the competency gap? Is it skills, knowledge, or attitude? Okay, so we think about that. The learners, the profile of the target group, okay, the proficiency level, the age, the size, okay, the size, learning preferences, okay, or other needs that one may need. No? Urgency of developing a competency can also be one of the consideration in selecting a modality. Of course, the resources, available resources. Kaya ba? Kahit gusto natin papuntahin lahat sila conference, kaya ba? Okay? Workplace realities, especially now during the pandemic. Even if we want to meet face-to-face, we cannot meet face-to-face. In just recent 2 months, we can meet face-to-face. No? So what we're trying to say is when you choose the modality for your program, there is no hard fast rule. Okay, each office or each school can come up with guidelines or with standards on how to address the needs based on the needs assessment report. All right. What we're trying to tell you is that before any decision has to be made, we focus on the learning objective based on the identified competency gap. What are the expected outputs? Okay, the profile, the available time, and the available resources. Sometimes when we are so used to doing lack ng lack. Okay, when we are in the division office para mabilis, ma-address, formal typing and formal training, baka may ibang paraan. Yun lang ang sinasabi namin, baka may ibang paraan. So, we just take that into consideration. Next slide, please. I will share you now the 70-20-10 na sinasabi, which may help you, which you may consider in in planning your programs. The 70-20-10 principle, this principle posts that 70% of learning is derived from on-the-job. Diba? Pinakita ko sa inyo kanina yung on-the-job community work, yung mga ganyan. Job, at marami pa akong examples kanina. Job embedded learning, committee work, job expansion, shadowing, rotation, binibigyan sila ng special projects. Yan. Diyan sila natututo. 70% kasi ina-apply nila. Okay? Dun sa workplace mismo. That's why you yourself has workplace application projects. Because that's where you will translate your learning from this program. Okay? Now, 20% lang of learning is derived from interaction. Okay? So, nag-uusap kayo, you join groups, you discuss. Okay? Yan, you learn more 20%. And, unfortunately, only 10% is derived from learning from formal training courses. Okay? Just such as this one. But again, as I was saying a while ago, you have to go back to the objectives, all right, to say that the formal learning delivery, okay, is the best for your particular program. We're just forwarding this principle. It's used around the world that what we call the 70-20-10 principle. So again, our leaders take into consideration the objectives of your program, the expected outputs, profile, the time, the available resources, and maybe you would want to add the 70-20-10 rule. All right. Next slide po. Leaders today have to do more with less and get better results from limited resources more than ever before. That's why proper planning is very, very important. And that planning will only be very effective as well if we have hard data. Alright? So Maraming salamat po sa inyo. That is our first session on L&D. And maybe we can have a 5-minute break if there are no questions regarding L&D. So, Ma'am Pai, baka lang may questions tayo before we go on a break. A 5-minute break.
Dear colleagues, if you have questions, you can raise them now to Dr. Joyce, mga anak.
Sige, tayo, pakitype lang ito.
Tanong po tayo, mga kasama.
Wala naman ata, Ma'am Pai. So, mag-break tayo. Yeah, so,
Let's have time check. It's 9:57. So, 5-minute break po. Let's go back at 10:02 o 10:05 na po. 10:05.
Sige po.
Thank you,
Ma'am Pai.
Thank you po, Doc Joyce. Sige po. Sir Noel, mga music natin nakakahilap muna dyan. Thank you.
Busy. Oo nga, na-miss mo sa YT. Lagi kang nasa Lagi ka ba nasa TikTok? Lagi ka yata nasa TikTok. Kumusta sa TikTok? Balitaan mo naman kami kumusta sa TikTok. Naka-break time. Dito muna ako. Chika-chika muna habang break time. Lagyan natin ng kulay. Oy, meron ka bang bagong upload? Di ka na yata nag-upload, ha? Opo, laging sa TikTok. Okay lang naman yata yun. Basta, active ka pa rin sa At least meron ka pa rin upload kahit paminsan-minsan lang, di ba dapat? Dapat may upload ka pa rin. Kahit paminsan-minsan lang yung upload mo. Ano sa tingin mo? Di ba dapat kahit paminsan-minsan lang yung yung upload mo. Hindi pwedeng walang upload din sa sa YouTube O mamaya mamaya ipapalabas na natin dun yun pagka tapos na yung break time. Naka-break tayo Yung mga mga gadget ko, mga nakalobat lahat. Puro lobat. Ito ba lobat din? Puro lobat May bago TikTok ko din upload ko, mami. Ba't hindi naman dito? Dito nakapag-upload dito sa sa YouTube. Ayun, di good. Sige, mamaya pasyalan natin. Pwede, teka, panoodin natin. Tingnan ko dito, ha. Sandali. Panoodin ko nga, Marie Aquino. Na-timingan kita Na-timing ka sa Na-timing ka sa break time. Sila kasi syempre kanina, kailangan ko talaga makinig doon sa seminar. Hindi siya timing. Ikaw naka-timing ka sa seminar. Okay, sandali. Marie Aquino pangalan mo, di ba? Marie Aquino. Sa sa channel mo. Marie Aquino. TikTok, baby. Anong bago dito? Tingnan natin pinakabago mo. Ayun, funny vibes. Teka lang, pa siya. May ads muna. Patagpuin natin konti bago tayo magpalabas. Apo, meron kaso hindi pa abot. Ilan ba? Ilan ba ang threshold dyan? Mas mabilis naman yata dyan kaysa sa, sa YouTube. Wow, sexy. Teka, ang hirap naman. Yung aking holder Nawala yung paborito kong holder, kaya nahirapan ako ngayon. Natapos. Okay, ayun siya. Nako, sino pa nandyan na pwede natin panoodin? Si M Daily Life. Nandiyan ba si M Daily Life? Si... Ikaw lang yata napasyal. Si Des. Si Des. Baka hindi pa kaibigan si Des Lorica. Bumabalik yan. Des Lorica. Nakita ko kasi mami 100,000 bago ma-on yung nakakatanggap ng gift. Grabe, 100,000. Cable car experience. Yan sa Hong Kong, cable car. Naka-TikTok din siya. Hindi. Ano to? Yung ads niya, TikTok. Ayun, sa cable car. Ang hirap ng aking camera. Habang lang yan, habang break time. Manood muna tayo. Mamaya isa uli sa'yo. Ayan si channel ni Des Lorica yan. Nakita ko kasi mami 100,000 bago ma-on yung makakatanggap ka ng gifts. Grabe, 100,000. Ilan ka na ngayon? Ilan ka na ngayon? Hello, Jaisel. Drop your link pagka meron kayong mga premiere o meron kayong gusto i-share. Gusto nyo i-share yung channel ninyo. Ayan, si Des Lorica po yan. Kanina nandito siya. Ewan ko nandyan pa. Si Des Lorica. Babalik yan sa inyo. Tapos na to. Jaisel Food and Lifestyle.
Hello po, Mumbai. It's 10:06.
Ayan, thumbs up. Ayan, thumbs up na ha. Okay. May trailer
Can we
pa pala
start
to.
po?
Okay, start na
Hello?
po kami.
Mumbai? Akala ko naghang ako. Akala ko naghang ako, Mumbai, kasi naghang yung ngayon. Sige, we can show the slide.
Apo, ma'am.
Baka si Sir, pwede si Sir.
Yan. Nakikita na po.
Oo, yan. Pero sa tayo yung after ng brain break.
Apo. Yan po ito po ang susunod.
Okay. Tama po pala. I'm sorry po. So that's the L&D framework again. And I just want to remind you that we are focusing on planning And we are focusing on a certain modality, no? So next slide po, Ma'am Pai. Certain modality, which is the relationship and discussion-based learning that may be implemented through face-to-face, online, or blended. So next slide, please. Yan. So here, again, relationship and discussion-based learning. As we see here, it's really coaching, mentoring, peer-assisted learning, and communities of practice. Now, let's focus on coaching and how you be able to do this in times of the pandemic as your intervention under the modality of RTL. All right, next slide po, Ma'am Pai. Now, we just need a volunteer, no? I will call on Ma'am Caroline Oliveros of Partida Elementary School. Are you there, Ma'am Caroline? Next slide po, Ma'am Pai. Ma'am Caroline, are you there? Please unmute your mic. Ma'am Caroline, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. I'm here.
Yes. Next slide po tayo, Ma'am Pai. Yes, Ma'am Caroline. Tanong ko lang, Ma'am, no? What are you experiencing in coaching? Or nakapag-coach ka na ba?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely po. When I was a master teacher and as a school head now, yes po.
Oo. So, pwede mo bang i-share sa atin yung experiences mo, Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. During coaching, ma'am, ang teachers sometimes are hesitant because nahiya po sila to tell us what really problem they meet during their teaching, ganun po. And but when you are very supportive naman and to tell them how willing you are to help them to solve problems they meet in their teaching, yan, unti-unti, ma'am, they will tell you na this is my problem to my learners, and then unti-unti rin, ma'am, you coach them how to solve such kind of problem they meet.
Alright. So, in terms of your coaching,
Yes,
madam,
ma'am.
when do you use coaching? Sa experience mo, when do you use coaching as a form of technical assistance?
Look, today, when now as a school head, ma'am, after I had my COT, and then if I see a particular na nahihirapan sila, and after dun sa aming post-conference, I will tell the teacher if what should we do in that case, ganun, ma'am.
Okay, so that's how you go through the coachings inside the post-conference, in the conversation of the post-conference.
Yes.
After
Yes, ma'am.
post-conference, ma'am, ano yung ginagawa mo?
After the post-conference, ma'am, again, observe po yung teacher, either yung for the second COT, if na-meet na yung problem or na-address na or na ka-cope up na siya doon sa sinabi or nakita ko na problem during the first COT, ma'am. So, yun po.
So, ikaw yung nakakakita ng skill niya or competency na kailangan mo.
During the COT. During the COT, ma'am.
Yes, during the classroom observation. So, nakikita mo kung saan dapat mag-improve. Tapos, sinasabi mo sa kanya yung feedback mo during the post-conference.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, after the post-conference, would you say na nagpa-formal coaching kayo or a conversation?
Mostly, ma'am, ang technique ko, ma'am, conversation, kasi nga pag sobrang formal yung teacher, medyo hesitant din po.
Hesitant. Alright. Okay. Sige, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your experience in coaching. Alright.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next slide po tayo, Ma'am Pai. Sandali Okay, so nandito na po tayo sa coaching approaches, no? Marami tayong na rinig from our principal, alright? So here, when we talk about approaches, no, there are 4. So number 1, coaching may be planned or impromptu. Okay, just like sinasabi ni Ma'am kanina, nagkaroon sila ng conversation within the bounds of the observation for COT. So coaching po in terms of performance management can be both planned and impromptu. Okay? Sometimes school heads like you may spot, okay, or may seize a coachable moment. Sa loob ng classroom, ang tawag natin sa mga estudyante natin yan, teachable moment. Outside, in the context of performance management, we have what we call a coachable moment as part of their day-to-day function and conduct impromptu coaching. Kasi especially the principal, I'm sure most of you would go for their walks, no, learning walks, and you would want to coach a teacher about a certain skill. Then it can be deemed as impromptu coaching. Of course, the other type of approach to coaching the other one is planned, which I will discuss to you later on. So the coachable moment is very impromptu. It's an unexpected opportunity for you to be able to create a conversation and address a specific concern or a performance gap. Now, number 2, coaching sessions may be conducted one-on-one or with a group. It doesn't necessarily mean coach and coachee relationship. Minsan nahihiya sila, sabi ni Madam. Minsan naman, pwede naman talagang group. Okay? So, coaching may be conducted in a group as long as you are focusing again or responding to a specific need. Number 3, coaching may be facilitated by a coach, internal or external to the coach's office. So, it can be conducted by the principal, makes sense, nandoon na inside the office, or pwede siyang i-coach ng ibang teacher or ibang supervisor. Okay? So that's still internal because it's within deped, or a lot of people now have what we call coaches, no? And yun talaga outsider. Okay? Outsider. So pwede rin yun. Coaching may be conducted face-to-face, online, or in a blended mode. Okay? So those are the coaching approaches. Alright. Next slide po, Ma'am Pai. So this is the coaching cycle. If you look at it, it's very similar to the framework of L&D. Kailangan mag-needs assessment, magplano ka rin, mag-design ka rin, mag-develop ka rin, at of course, i-deliver mo. And of course, monitoring and evaluation needs to take place. Okay? These are for the formal coaching sessions. Alright? And a lot of our teachers and a lot of our school heads, especially Ma'am Pai, no, nandyan yung mga supervisors na, kailangan talaga yung ating coaching para sa ating school heads ay formal. No? So this is the process that you go through. Okay, next slide. So the first one is needs assessment. Next slide, Ma'am Pai. Yes. So this should be incorporated, no, in your annual plan and of professional development, okay, of the school, and indicates the learning and development needs, okay. In a flexible learning environment, you can validate the needs of your colleague by holding a conversation with the coachee and the immediate supervisor and review the IPD or the IPCRF. Okay, ulitin ko po. For validating the needs, if kunyari coaching yung gusto nyo gamitin, kailangan syempre nandun yung sa annual plan, okay. Kailangan, again, may sistema. Okay? May enabling mechanism tayong ginagawa. Now, before the implementation of the coaching activity and a conversation with the coach and the coachee, okay? Let's say, from the principal and the teacher, or the principal and the head teacher, there has to be a conversation, okay, reviewing the plans, and kung talaga naman pumapayag yung i-coach nyo na mag-coach, kasi nga sabi ni ma'am, may mga nahihiya. Pero kung group coaching, kailangan din natin malaman if they are amenable to that coaching because it's different from LAC. Okay, it's different from LAC. And through this conversation with you, I'll show you why it's different and how it's different. Okay, next slide po. After you validate the needs, of course, the output will be the validated needs. Again, baseline to. Okay? And then, of course, you have to choose also kung face-to-face, online, or blended. Okay? And again, here, we have to confirm if it is the most appropriate intervention to address the needs, especially if medyo sensitive yung ating competency na gustong i-address. Maybe coaching would be very, very helpful. Okay, next slide po, Ma'am Pai. So after needs assessment, we now go to planning. Alright, next slide. Sa planning po, ano naman po ang ginagawa natin? Next slide po. We plan, of course, the coaching activities. Okay? In planning, next slide po. Can we go to the next slide ng planning coaching activities? Naghahang po, Ma'am Pai. Ayan. Iakyat po natin dun sa planning coaching activities, hindi po designing. The slide before that. Planning coaching activities. Iakyat lang po natin, Ma'am Pai. Pasensya na kayo, naghahang ang ating mga gadgets. Yung designing coaching activities po. Sige pa po, yung nauna po, lampas na po eh. Yung mga previous slides pa po. Sige pa po Sige po, yan. Planning coaching activities. So here, we plan coaching activities based on the terminal objective and the output of the coaching intervention. Okay. So, kailangan dito sa planning po natin is the terminal objective of the coaching intervention, and then we have to already look at the indicative schedule of sessions. Okay. Now, if it's included in the APPD as planned in the L&D intervention, we have to revisit and update po terminal objectives and output indicated, if necessary. And of course, kailangan involved na si coaching or yung ipo-coach na. Okay? Now, if the coaching activity, let's say, nakita nyo, it's not included in APPD, you have to formulate, of course, the objective. Okay? And we have to create, again, smart objectives. Alright? Follow the ABCD, audience behavior condition degree approach to writing your objective. Okay? So, next, after planning, it's the same thing, no? We do, next slide, please. We do the designing. Okay. Next slide ulit. So, yan, ang designing na natin. So, here, in the designing of our coaching, we prepare now a detailed coaching plan. Again, each session must have the following: objective, yung pag-uusapan nyo, kung paano, at ano yung mga kailangan resources. Okay, yan po yung coaching activities. Kasi po, ang coaching po can be only 2 sessions. It can be 3, it can be more. Okay? Pwede pong ganon. So, kailangan po, kung gagamitin po natin yan as proof of our technical assistance and you saw fit na kailangan magkaroon ng coaching with a number of days, kailangan po yung ating detailed coaching plan will entail the objectives, contents, methodologies, and resources. Alright. Next slide po. Yan. So, designing coaching activities, ayan po. Terms of the objective. Yan. You state the objectives from the coach's point of view. Ito po, ang crucial na crucial, because we are used to mentoring. Kung may nakita po tayong kailangan i-improve the teacher na maaari namang totoo, sa coaching po, kailangan we focus on the coach's point of view. Point of view na sa tingin niya na kailangan niyang i-improve. Yun po yung difference ng coaching. It's not the coach's view, but it's the coach's point of view. That's why the coaching is a process of heightened awareness. Alright? Kung sasabihin mo kung anong gagawin, kung anong solusyon, hindi po coaching yan. Okay? It defeats the purpose of the coaching sessions. Alright? Please keep that in mind. Okay? That's a major difference in coaching. Then, of course, yung content, anong pag-uusapan nyo? Remediation ba? Anong pag-uusapan nyo? Attitude in the workplace. What method? One-on-one? Group? Is it blended? Is it face-to-face? And of course, the resources that we will use during the coaching sessions. Alright, next slide po. In a flexible learning environment po. Next slide po, Ma'am Pai. Yan. Some coaching sessions may just be in the form of conversation. Okay lang po yun. Where the coach provides guidance to the coachee. It may be immediately translated to a specific output or demonstration of behavior. Pag nakita ni principal na, itong gawin mo kung nagtuturo ka ng sound recognition. A says A, show mo agad yung picture, ulitin mo, tapos padrawingin mo an object that begins with letter A. Yun, nag-start na yung conversation. No? Kasi sinabi na sa'yo ng coach na, ma'am, nahihirapan ako ituro yung letter A. So immediately, matatranslate yun. No? Pwede pong mangyari yan, but yung MOVs nyo, means of verification, may be more evident in succeeding session. It may start in a simple conversation, but it can be formally translated to a formal coaching in the following sessions. Kasi makikita, maha-highlight yung awareness na naman ng coach nyo na, I know this na, then how do I do these following steps? And would require coaching maybe from a head teacher. So, pwede pong mangyari yun. Spark of conversation and then magiging formal coaching sessions na po siya. Next slide, Ma'am Pai. This is in the in your workbook. So this is the coaching design template that was from NEA a few years ago, and you can use this, all right, if you want to go through coaching sessions. When we discuss the terminal objective of our program and you will provide technical assistance, you might want to use coaching as one of your projects for technical assistance. And here you see before you kung ano yung coaching design template. Number 1, the terminal objective. State again what the coachee will be able to do by the entire coaching intervention. Then we have the coaching plan. Session 1, 2, 3. Pwede namang 2 lang, pwedeng 3, pwedeng 5. Ano po yung objective sa bawat session? Ano po yung means of verification? Okay. It can be pictures, it can be work, okay, it can be reflection. Okay. Ano yung topics na pinag-usapan nyo? Okay. Ano yung proseso na ginawa nyo? Is it one-to-one discussion? Is it a guided activity? Is it a presentation with reflection? And resources, what technologies or supplies did you use? So you have this in your workbook, the coaching design template, if you want to do coaching as an intervention under the relationship-based discussion modality. All right. Next slide, please. Next slide tayo, Ma'am Pai. So after the designing, coaching, alam niyo na yung coaching plan nyo, coaching design. Now the development of learning resources. Okay, next slide. We develop now whatever you will need in your coaching session. May it be presentation, the video clips, the handouts, the manual, documents, or worksheets, or whatever you will need to support that coaching session. Okay? But may I remind you, coaching session relies really on very private conversation. Okay? minimal naman ang kailangan sa learning resources, if ever. It's really the conversation that is very, very, very important in a coaching session. All right, next slide, please. Now we have the delivery. Okay, delivery. So we needs assessment, planning, and then designing, and then the delivery. Okay, this phase involves the actual conduct of the coaching session, the actual conduct of the conversation. Okay, planned intervention, of course, you have to know where you're meeting, your needed resources. The actual interaction is guided by the GROW coaching model, which I will discuss with you after this. After I go through this system, these subsystems, okay? And then the application of the ME tools to document the activity, usually yung mga signing, nakita niyo po dun sa coaching session natin, may mga signature doon. And of course, yung debriefing, okay? So, to help the coach manage the learning process, the coach also must require a debriefing conversation with the coachee at the end of each session. So, kailangan po yan. Next slide po. Ang kailangan po after nun is the monitoring and evaluation, as you see here in your slide. Next slide. So, kailangan po talagang plan yung ating coaching activity. Kasi without the monitoring and evaluation, we don't know where we're starting and we don't know where we're going.